Good afternoon, America. How are you? How are you, America? I'm just going to get right down to it. I'm going to talk about Doctor Torres, and I've been thinking, and the best way to talk about Doctor Torres is to start at the beginning. Well, in the beginning, it was 1976 in Socorro, New Mexico. Socorro, New Mexico. Socorro, New Mexico is an old cowboy town. It's an old cowboy town, but make no mistake about it. It's the indigenous Hispanics that call the shots. In other words, you know, privileged white boys like me, we learn to keep our mouths shut really quick in a town like Socorro, New Mexico, because, like I said, it's a Hispanic town. In fact, the entire state of New Mexico is Hispanic. I think if you check the census numbers, you'll see that the white boys like me are the minority. I'm pretty sure that's a true statement. So, so Socorro, like I said, it's an old cowboy town. You know, New Mexico, the high desert. You can rattlesnakes are a common nuisance. You understand, and and it smells like sagebrush. And for those of you who don't know, sagebrush kind of smells like camphor. It smells like camphor a little bit, and the smell it permeates your nostrils like a cold shower. This smell of this springtime sagebrush does, and it smells like it smells like home. Okay, it smells like home. I'm a New Mexico native myself. Wasn't born in Socorro, mind you. I was born in Farmington. Point is, Renee, also known as Doctor Torres, she was born in Socorro. Yeah, 1976. It was a rough time to be alive down in Socorro, especially for the females. And the Hispanic culture, not a knock on the Hispanic culture, but it's just a fact. Researchers actually have a name for it. The researchers have called it Marianismo, and that's just a fancy name for extreme misogyny. Extreme misogyny. So living in New Mexico back in 1976 for the females was no picnic. It was no picnic. For example, my Renee's mother, she was born in I don't remember what year she was born, but she was married when she was 13, and her husband was 21 at the time. And it didn't raise any eyebrows, you understand, because it was commonplace. It was normalized for men to marry and for women to marry young. Um, and as I said, as I alluded to, it was hard being a female in 1976 in Socorro because well, let's just face facts. Women were expected to cook and rear children, and if they didn't, they could expect a beating, and that's the way it was in Socorro back in '76. And I'm not a proponent for misogyny, mind you. I think that I'm not a proponent for violence, but I'm just stating facts. Back in 1976, it wasn't an easy thing to be a female, and and that's where Dr. Torres originated from. And that's the origin story of Dr. Torres, the beginning. A quick little bit of lore. Tell us, Renee's mother, all the way through pregnancy, while the baby was still in utero, tell us decided that the baby's name was going to be Jennifer. Jen, yeah. So the interesting thing, a little bit of family lore, is when the actual birth took place, when the baby, when Tellus gave birth, and the first thing that Tellus said when she saw this new infant child daughter is she said, "This isn't this isn't Jennifer." She said, "This is Renee," and that's just a little bit of Renee lore. So I don't know if it's strange or not, but that's how Renee started out. She started out as Jen, and then she became Renee. Now she's Dr. Torres. More to come. Thank you, America.